So I want to apologize to absolutely nobody for the video I made yesterday about rich people. And I want to clarify things. I don't hate all rich people, and I'm not jealous of rich people. I don't want their life. I don't want to live in a fucking palace. I don't want to have a superficial wife that only cares about me because of my money. I don't want to have responsibility over tons of people or whatever they're doing. I don't want to have all that responsibility, man. That having all that extra stuff, all the material stuff, just puts more stress on me. So for me, I'm fine living a minimalistic life in more about enjoying experiences and you know, living life without having to be a slave. That's more interesting to me than like becoming a billionaire, millionaire, or whatever. Like that's never gonna happen for me. But um, I don't care about that stuff. I just don't want to have to worry about money no more. I hate having to think about money. I hate having to think about finances. I hate having to think about paying my bills. And I think a lot of people are just over it because it feels like we have so many bills now that it just feels like we're running a business. And we're just tired. That's why people are just like exhausted. They're just tired. They're tired of worrying about things. They're tired of thinking about like basically we can't have a fucking plan, you know? And the reason because if you try to like have like a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, we don't know what's going to look like in the future. We don't know like what jobs are going to look like in 2-10 years. So like to plan like 10 years in advance, to plan 30 years in advance for like a 30-year mortgage is just like absurd nowadays. Not knowing what the hell is going to happen in the future, how fast technology is just like evolving. I When I say I hate rich people, there is a part of me that does because the reason why I do, and not all rich people are bad. And I might have said this yesterday, I don't care. They have been leading our society. They lead us. They pay for politicians. So the politicians do what they want. They run the companies. They run this shit. And look at how disgusting society has gotten. I think if you work hard, you should have a better lifestyle than people who don't work hard. That's what I think. But there comes a point where it's just like, like how much is enough for you rich people? And when are you going to start giving back? When are you going to give back? You're not doing anything. You're not investing your money into like, hey, let's eliminate these fast food jobs. Nobody wants to do these jobs. I don't know what we're going to go to. And people, oh, socialism will suit me. I'm not a socialist, man. But like, there comes a point where it's just like, how much wealth do you people need? How much power? How much control? And if you guys were doing a good job by like, if we were living in the everybody was living in the 1950s when we were highly prosperous in America, obviously getting rid of the racism and all that other crap. But if we were, you know, everyone's prosperous, everyone's doing good, instead of like it feeling like my hard work is not paying off for anything. All of my work goes to paying my bills because they don't want to pay nothing. Health insurance is insane. Car insurance is insane. And if you do things the right way, you still get hit because of other people doing things wrong. Rich people are the problem. They aren't like evolving the system. They're not changing the system. What can I do? Like seriously, in my little life, I don't have any influence. What can a regular person do? What can they do but accept their fate in the system? And the system doesn't benefit us anymore. And I don't want a societal collapse. I don't want people to just stop working. I want rich people to keep making money, but I want us to make money too. If they have to make profits by using us as slaves or other people in different countries as slaves to make profit, that is a problem. That's a huge problem. I don't advocate for slavery. Obviously, the name I got, Enslaved Ones, was because I feel like a financial slave to the system. Things are so out of date. And they just like, we're just like continuously like trying to, it's like we're like that great football team that, like the 49ers in the 80s or the Patriots in the 2000s or whatever, 2010s. But instead of Tom Brady, keep staying excellent, he is he's went down on his skill level because he got old or whatever. Didn't happen in reality, but I'm just saying, like, this is a metaphor. And then thinking that he's going to continue to win you Super Bowls when he's lost his skill set because he's got older. Maybe he doesn't run as fast. Maybe his arm isn't as strong. He's gotten stronger, but his physical tools aren't there like they used to be. And think you're going to continue to win Super Bowls every single year with this guy without having to replace him. That's like what the system is basically like nowadays. These rich people are just continuously like abusing the system by just taking from us and not giving nothing back in return. Not making the environment better. That's why I have a problem with rich people. They're the ones in control. They're the ones that are leading society. They're the ones leading our countries. And look where they're leading us. I like Elon. I like Trump. Why do I like them? Why do I like people like Dan Bongino when they could be not working for our government and making more money? Because they're donating their time. They're taking a pay cut. They're giving back. What other rich people are giving back? I don't see nothing. Well, the donation they donate to this organization. No. Give back to your employees. Quit trying to lowball people with wages. Quit trying to put your shareholders first. Like putting the shareholders first when a company is just starting is one thing, but when you're already established and you're doing well, why the fuck do you still worry about your shareholders? You need to start worrying about the employees or you're not going to fucking have a company. Because people aren't going to work. People aren't going to work for you. Why do people have been switching jobs? I've heard a statistic a few years ago that 70% of people switch their jobs because they don't like their boss. If you're not going to pay me enough to survive, I'm not going to be loyal to you. You're not going to be loyal to me. Like these companies have seemed like they want to push people out who know what they're doing, who have been loyal to the companies, who should be getting paid more because they do a lot for the companies. There's a lot of information that they have retained about the companies. But it seems like companies, and I felt this for the longest time, want to push good workers out who are topped out or make a lot of money they want to get rid of loyal workers to them for new workers so they can pay them less. It's a continuous, like, you can't keep doing this and expecting society to not collapse, expecting people to finally be like at their wits' end, just say, I don't care no more. And they do something like Luigi did, but in mass. I say this stuff because you have to look at human nature and history. You look at different revolutions that's happened in the past. There's similar things that have happened that's happening now. There's a huge portion of Americans who are oppressed by the rich people. And I don't care. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine being oppressed. That's fine. You can oppress me. I don't mind working for us. But treat us right, man. And when I say treat us right, like, pay us right. I shouldn't have to hustle. All I should have is one income. That should be 140 hour a week income should fund my life. It should be enough to survive. Yeah, conservatives, I've said this before, and I see them sitting here advocating for slavery. Yeah, the same with the Democrats. They're advocating for slavery. The Democrats want to let illegals over here so that we can pay them less to do this instead of having Americans do the work. Who's going to pick your crops? Who's going to pay people? If you pay people enough, they will do the job. Or you take away the welfare. It's either work or starve. I don't know what to tell you. Man. People will work, but they're not going to work for fucking free. And that's what it feels like. It feels like we're working for free. You rich people have completely taken the carrot from us. We're on a treadmill and then there's no carrot for us anymore. We, in the working class, like I'm sitting here on X right now and I'm seeing all these people complaining about the stock market crash when if you like you people are rich, most people can't afford stocks. 60% of people can't come up with $1,000. So when the stock market crashed the other day, it affects rich people. Well, I mean, can't you buy more stocks? Aren't they on sale now? It's like it doesn't affect us like it does you. You know, there will be some job loss. Yes, some people will lose their jobs, and so will a lot of white collar workers. But there's going to be jobs coming back, and we are going to need these jobs. You know how many white collar workers we're about to see out of a job? We need manufacturing here. Service jobs are looked down on in our society. People look down on you if you were a service worker and you don't get paid. It's a double thing where our society relies on so much on our service sector, but they look down on these people. We need to switch our perspective of stop looking up to rich people who they're not doing anything but serving themselves, and just start looking to ourselves. You know, I don't want to see a revolution. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. That's why I say this, because I'm just putting a warning out, and it's not a warning for me because I'm not going to do nothing, and I'm not advocating for anybody to do anything. But at some point, people are going to be like, I lost a family member because of you, because I couldn't afford health insurance or I couldn't afford that surgery for them because of you taking from me. I couldn't afford to save up for that, and they're going to act out. Like anybody in this world, and I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm saying anybody in this world is touchable. Anybody. And I just think that so many people are out of touch with reality, and they're like, they think they're indestructible. Like these rich people, they think that they're indestructible. You can't keep taking and giving nothing back. You have to give back. You have to invest in the infrastructure, in the people who are the ones who run your company, not the shareholders. Fuck the shareholders, man. Fuck those people. Because your company will just go under. So keep on putting the shareholders first. especially when you're established already. Keep putting these people first over the people who show up every day. Bust their ass for your company. And see what happens. Keep putting them first. Fuck the shareholders. It's a risky asset. They shouldn't, they know like they can lose money if they invest in you. So it is as their that's their risk. They don't have to invest in you. It's their choice. They're trying to make a profit. They're just trying to make a profit by doing nothing. That's what investing is. It's a risk, yes, but you're trying to make a profit by just doing nothing. Investing your wealth because of the wealth you already have. Rich people have life on easy. When you can make money by passive income, which most of these people do, it's not fair, man. It's not fair, man. And if rich people did things correctly, ran things right, where they actually gave back to people instead of like hoarding everything, they are hoarding. And I don't give a fuck that they pay 50% in taxes. I don't give a shit. They should. They should pay 70% in taxes. They should pay more than us. Motherfucker, I shouldn't pay any taxes since I don't make any money. I'm poverty level. I made 41K last year. I worked all year last year. I made 41K. I'm poverty level. Why am I paying taxes? I shouldn't have to pay any taxes. I shouldn't have to pay sales tax. I shouldn't have to pay shit because I'm fucking poor. You know how many people are in my position? I'm actually better off than 50-60% of Americans. Not this second because I don't have a job, but I'm going to get a job. I have to move to get a job. They don't give nothing back. You know, when you're working, like, how is health insurance an incentive or a benefit if I have to pay a huge weekly premium, pay copay for doctor's appointments, and then pay a huge deductible for the insurance company to pay for anything? How is that a benefit to me? How about you just pay me more per hour? How about you just pay my whole insurance and pay me $7.75 an hour so I can collect food stamps? We live in a system where people on welfare have access to better health care than me. I'm put in a position where I can't afford to go to the doctor. But I'm the one, people in my position, the ones who are essential workers working on this infrastructure, the most important people in our society. Because if we don't have anyone working on the infrastructure, what happens to the rest of the society? You think that these rich people are going to come and do infrastructure jobs? No. But people, these parasites, and rich people are parasites as well. These people on welfare, which I think that people who are disabled, old people, young people, if you're able-bodied, you should be out here working, man. Like, you shouldn't be collecting welfare. You shouldn't be having more kids. If you're on welfare, you shouldn't be having more kids. You should have a hysterectomy. If you need society to take care of your kids for you financially, you shouldn't be having more kids, and you should be done forever. That's how it should go. It's one thing to fall on hard times, but it's another thing to sit here on welfare for the whole child's life. And pop out more kids? Really? Why? Why are you popping out more kids? No, give that person a hysterectomy. It's better long term. They don't need to be having more kids because they fucked up. It's either they fucked up or bad things happened to them. My point is, like, essential workers, the people keeping this infrastructure moving forward, are treated worse than people on welfare. That's what I'm saying. The difference is we have a little bit more money to be mobile of living in a better area. That's the advantage. But they have more access to food than us. They have more access to healthcare than us. And they don't produce nothing for society. They are a negative, and the working class is a positive. And our society puts people on welfare over the working class. And it's like, you need to pick one, man. Pick the people on welfare you feel bad for, or pick the people who actually work on the infrastructure. You got to pick one. Who is more important to society? People who do nothing for society, or people who actually do something for society? The most important people in our society. The most important people are not the rich people, because they're not going to come out here and do these jobs. Maybe very few. Most don't. You're not going to see very many Elons coming out here doing real work. They just sit behind a desk. They have all these other people do their jobs for them. They don't do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. Maybe some CEOs work 80 hours a week. What does that work consist of, though? What does that work consist of? It's not doing dirty jobs. And they like it. They like it. They like working 80 hours a week. Why don't you work 80 hours a week digging ditches? Maybe I should look right here. Yeah, I think I should. I was watching my video yesterday, and I'm like looking over here, and I should be looking right there. I just want things more fucking fair, man. I just want to stop having to like fight for scraps. I think that the American people deserve better than that from rich people. And I just think it's ridiculous at this point. It's not that people are lazy that don't want to work. It's just like, what's the fucking point? What's the point? 50 million people on welfare. All these countries are just mooching off of us with, taking from us. They've been taking from us. It's almost like poor. It's almost like they want us poor so they can keep a stranglehold over us. But what happens when they dwindle down and down and down? Like in numbers, fewer and fewer people are getting rich, and more people are getting poor because of this system. Yeah, capitalism worked great to get people out of poverty. It's not working now. But I don't think this is a pure capitalist system. I think this is a socialist type of system as well. Pure capitalist system would let companies fail. The government wouldn't come in here and save companies from going under because they're too big to fail. If they're too big to fail, they need to be broken up. And our government isn't doing their job by breaking up monopolies. If you're too big to fail, you're a monopoly, and you need to be broken up, sold off. That's why I think there's a limit to how much. That's the point of monopolies, is being anti-monopoly laws or whatever, is to limit power. I gotta go to the gym. Take it easy.